Hello there, and welcome everyone to the Trusted Advisor Show. I'm your co-host today, Rob Jacomen, and I am joined today by a really cool host of other characters, and one of them is a guy by the name of Nick Cipollone. And we're going to learn a little bit about Nick today. We're going to learn. Nick is an intern at Staton Walsh, and we decided to bring him on. We also have Devin and Ryan, who have been with Nick. Obviously, they brought him on board for the summer, and so we thought this would be a great opportunity to learn more about you, Nick, and also, one of our other goals is to also share with the younger generation a little bit about your experience and also learn more about our industry in general, the trusted advisor world. And then you can share your experience. And then also, we're going to talk, we're just going to, kind of go with the flow. We're going to ask you some questions and learn more about your background and then, we'll just take it from there. So Nick, tell us a little bit about yourself and where your background, how you got into this in the first place.
Well, thanks, Rob. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on. And
Mhm.
Where do I begin? So, right now, I'm currently a junior at Towson University. I'm studying financial planning and investments. And I came to Staton Walsh in June of 2020, and I got into this. I got into this industry back in the summer of 2019. I decided to intern for a larger firm, and that didn't really work out too well. And I came back once I transferred to Towson in the fall of 2019. I I began taking classes, began to get more familiar with the industry, and I met Devin at a Calvert Hall networking event because we both share the same alma mater.
Go
And
home.
Absolutely, and we hit it off and began talking. And in June of 2020, we began work at Staton Walsh, and I've been there since.
That's awesome. So Ryan, I know you have a couple questions, and Devin, I'm sure you are as well, teed up as well. But I'll let you guys. Ryan, you want to go ahead and I'm actually super excited about this because we get a chance to have. I mean, this is like whole different format for us, and a whole different. It's kind of like us, going outside of our usual, what we usually talk about. And I think this is one of the coolest. This is one of the coolest things for us right now. So go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wanted to spend some time today. We felt first and foremost, we felt it was important to share this, with our networks as well as, one of our initiatives as a company is we want to give back to the community and in various ways. And one of them is helping our industry. I think all of our industries as a whole get a little bit younger. Devin and I are about a little more than half the industry average in terms of age as a firm for financial advisors. So it's an aging population. And when Nick approached us, we felt it was a good opportunity. But I really want Nick to share his experiences too, because becoming a financial advisor is not a traditional path. It's one that I certainly didn't think when I was in college I was going to get into this career. And Nick is actually in a unique position at Towson where he's in the financial planning program. They actually have a CFP certification that you can take while you're still in school. So I want him to share some experiences about that. And he actually has a really good story about how he got from, being at a different university to now in Towson and being in the financial planning field. So, Nick, share some insight in terms of, where, when you started college, what major you were in and how you ended up becoming a financial planning major and kind of what enticed you to do that.
Great question. Thank you. So I began my college career at the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, and I studied mechanical engineering there for 2 years. And after those 2 years, I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to intern at a firm in Mississippi. While I was there, I discovered that engineering was not the field for me, for various reasons, and
Why
uh,
not? Why not, Nick? I'm an engineer.
Oh,
What, are we
Here
not
we
knew
go.
that was
cool?
coming. I knew that was coming.
I'm a former engineer. But anyway, sorry to digress there, Nick.
no,
Don't
it's
don't be
okay.
dissing on engineers.
Oh, believe me, I'm not digging on engineers. It just isn't for everybody.
No, I got you.
But
It wasn't for Rob either, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
but after that experience, I decided to leave the University of Alabama and pursue an education in finance. And my reason for getting into financial planning, it might sound cliche, but I really wanted to help people. So I had some family issues when I was in high school, as well as throughout college, and my mother and father really had some financial difficulties because they weren't able to properly plan. They didn't have the proper savings and risk management able to, that was able to get through like bumps in the road and things that happened. So my, what I learned through that was, one, having a financial plan is extremely important, and two, I want to help people prevent catastrophic financial situations happen in their futures. So that's really what got me into financial planning, and that's where I am now.
So that's really what a lot of times we hear that, Nick, all the time is that what really inspires someone to get into or get interested in a field is a result of some kind of pain or like an event that
Yeah.
occurs. And in your case, it's, your family, your direct, immediate family experiencing some financial stress, which is a common thing. Obviously, we've experienced that in our country. A lot of people are going through a really tough time right now, and we talked about
Mhm.
that a couple weeks ago in our we did a whole series on planning. And you're bringing up a great point, because now it's gotten you to the point where you're interested in that and saying, you know what, I don't want anyone else to ever go through that the way we did, and the stress it caused to my family. So I'm going to do my part, and I'm actually going to learn this industry. I'm going to learn this business, and I'd like to go out and help other people. That's kind of what you're saying, right?
Exactly. That's, you hit the nail right on the head.
So, before you decided to leave Alabama, you ended up at Towson and decided to pursue the financial planning education. So before you got into this field and really got a chance to see it firsthand, what would you say your impression of the day to day of being a financial planner was like?
To be honest, I thought it was a lot of hard selling. A lot of cold calling, um, a lot of sales calls, and and honestly, for lack of a better word, just for lack of a better term, just calling people to buy stocks or calling people to invest, and really not the like holistic kind of planning and education that I'm beginning to learn goes into this industry.
That's really
What do you think?
interesting. Nick, I just want to ask you a follow-up question to that. What what gave you that gave you that impression? Like, did you see something, or did you, because I think that what you're saying is it's kind of like that hard sell, you know, financial guy coming at you really hard with, you got to invest in this and you got to buy this type of life insurance and et cetera. Is that, where did you get that initially? Like, where did you get that impression from?
Well, I began working with a larger firm
Hmm.
um, last summer, and a lot of their philosophy centered around um, getting names, getting contacts, getting referrals,
Right.
and selling particular products rather than, at least in Staton Walsh's case, offering a variety or a buffet of different available options that are tailor made for every individual situation. It was more of, hey, let's get this out the door. let's tailor make our products to fit everybody's needs rather than let's let's talk with the client, listen to them, and figure out what's right for them before we come to them with something we want to sell them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Devin. You were going to ask. I think you were going to ask something.
Yes, and Nick, I know we've had a lot of conversations. What do you think your biggest eye-opening experience was that kind of helped you realize, like, all right, maybe it wasn't exactly what you expected? I know we've done through a lot of education and a lot of things that you thought that advisors might not have done. So what was like one moment from this summer that you've kind of experienced that was like, all right, this is different than I thought? Anything that you kind of put your mind to?
Well, this might be a little granular, but when we were going through different insurance illustrations and going through different portfolio positionings with different clients and really stress testing and doing the due diligence and making sure we got things right for clients, that was really eye-opening for me because it wasn't, I was starting to see that it wasn't a one size fits all kind of proposition. So going through that, seeing the back end, seeing the process of planning really opened my eyes towards, what this industry is or what it should be.
No, that's great. I mean, I think from our perspective, we were pretty happy. And I think, just being candid for everyone else out there, when Nick and I first met, because he got the chance to meet Devin, I tried really hard to dissuade him from getting into this industry. And
That was a fun conversation.
The reason is that you have to, Devin and I made it in this industry by being battle tested. I mean, we got beat down a lot. Getting into this industry is not easy as a younger person, because of some of the things that we talk about, obviously, but also because of the way that things are done, the way they're taught. There's a lot of old school methodology that just doesn't stand the test of time anymore. There's technology, there's the internet, there's a lot of different things. And so one of the things that we wanted to be clear about is that this isn't easy and that we do really good work for people and we help them, but it doesn't come, as easy as people may think. People aren't actively necessarily, people are seeking out advice and help, but they don't really know they don't know how to go about doing that. And our industry does a really bad job of teaching people how to go out there and market the help that we're providing. Help usually comes in the form of a product sale, and kind of what Nick's first impression that he mentioned sometimes ends up being the impression or kind of the blanket that people throw over our industry. And so this was a good opportunity for us to teach, and see if help Nick understand if this was really something that he would want to do long term, and if he was cut out for it, to be completely honest. And two, it gave us an opportunity to help educate a next generation. Even as younger advisors, Devin and I are always thinking forward into how can we create the next generation of us? Because the reality is we're all not going to be around forever. We're having a lot of conversations of succession with older advisors that are twice our age, that are by themselves and they have nowhere to go. And we're trying to figure out with them, how can we help you, just like we would do with a client? You're at a later stage of life. How can we help you still enhance the value that you're bringing to your clients, but while also helping you exit your business in an efficient way? And so Nick has gotten a lot of experiences throughout the summer like that. And I think we were fortunate that those happened in a coronavirus world that we're living in. Very different. And so I guess that's a good question for Nick too, is that, understanding that, traditional internship, you probably had a different idea of how that was going to go. What was your experience like, having this internship be in a more virtual fashion this summer because of everything that's going on?
Well, I didn't know what to expect going into it, this being a virtual internship. And, this coronavirus pandemic has obviously impacted everybody significantly. And I think the experience overall had about the same impact as it probably would have in a non-coronavirus world. I mean, we were able to meet with clients virtually. We were able to collaborate virtually. I mean, the technology and the utilization of that technology that we were able to deploy throughout the summer was really great, and made it a lot better for us. Right? No, I wouldn't say better, but it made it a lot more efficient for us as working as a team.
Nick, let me ask you something. That's you bring up a really great point. And actually it's an area I want to get into right now. And that is with regards to like young people getting hands-on experience in the actual world, in our world.
Mhm.
How is that so much different than the actual school? The book knowledge, the
The book
textbook
yeah,
knowledge, you got an opportunity to get in front of actual clients.
yeah,
You got an opportunity to see how Devin and Ryan position somebody for success in a financial, and helping them to plan for their future, plan for their lives. What was that experience like as compared to, say, the book knowledge?
well, let me put it to you like this. You can talk about concepts and you can go over them, you know, all day and all you want, but without seeing how somebody reacts, without, you know, looking at a case, like a real person's case, and dealing with the variables that come with that, the things that get kind of lost in translation between emails, phone calls, meetings, all of that kind of stuff, and um, dealing with all the different moving parts that go into people's financial lives. That's something you really don't get in a classroom setting. I mean,
Yeah.
in a classroom setting, you're normally given problems. There's one right answer, and there's not really a lot of room for outside the box thinking or anything that's open ended. So, in the cases that we were working on, there are multiple right answers. Something, not one, there's no one right answer for a particular client. So, the fact that I was able to see, multiple angles and multiple solutions for clients was was a great experience.
Yep.
No,
That's interesting.
yeah.
Go ahead, Devin.
That's great, Nick. I know we were extremely blessed to have Nick this summer. He was just such a pleasure to work with. So Nick, what's one thing that you kind of, after being with us this summer, is there anything that you have an area of concern, where maybe the industry wasn't necessarily what I thought, where you question in the future? Is there anything that was just so out there that you like, I never thought this was going to be part of it, that you had any concerns about?
Um, one thing I didn't really expect going into this was the amount of teamwork with other professionals that goes on. I didn't think that was completely out. I wouldn't say that was completely out there, but I expected, you have different firms and they're more of like a one-stop shop. Whereas with Staton Walsh and with, the other firms we collaborate with, it's really a team effort and really is a, board approach to people's financial lives and, to different companies' financial lives.
So,
How do you
Nick, what
think
you
that?
were saying. Sorry, go ahead, Devin.
No, so how do you think that benefits the client when you see that it's something that you weren't expecting? How do you think that like benefits the client and the end result?
I think, simply put, the more eyes you have looking at something, and the more perspectives you have on a particular case, I think the better it is for the client as a whole. Like if you have somebody whose brain thinks in an accounting type discipline, they might, be able to look at something and um, have a better perspective on what's right for that particular client. And if you have a planner or that type of professional, they have a different perspective on, what's right for that client.
It's the difference between the future and the past.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
Nick, I actually have another follow-up question to that. What, as you're thinking or imagining like people you know or friends or people who are in your path, like your path at Towson or other young people like yourself who you know are interested in the financial world, like the financial planning career, uh, what would you like to see from us that would attract you more to and want to pursue it even more? Like what would you like to see more from us in terms of how we bring you in and mentor, or what are you guys looking for as a young person when in a career, when you're going into a career like this?
We're looking for, you know, tangible like work experience. We're not just looking for, Ryan gave me a great example of his first internship experience where he was stuffing envelopes for sales mailers,
lots
and
of paper cuts.
yeah, and doing things like that. So I think what people want to see out of an internship is real world experience, and also the opportunity to make a little money and to feel comfortable in what they're doing. So I think young people are looking for real world work experience because the job market is so competitive, and the world of financial planning is so competitive that we really need to have the right tools in our toolbox to move forward and to be effective in our careers.
Yeah. And so for all the financial planning guys out there or gals, and agency owners, you want to listen to Nick right now, right? You want to listen to Nick. If you're looking to attract talent and really set up the future of our industry with really sharp guys like Nick who have a passion for the industry, who have a passion to help people, these are the kinds of young people we're looking for. And we need to mentor them and train them the right way. Don't just hand them a phone book or have them doing some menial work. Actually have them involved with your clients. Like, don't
Yeah.
be afraid to be on a call with them, a Zoom call. I mean, we don't know how long this is going to go on, but I would have no problem taking Nick on a call with me to one of my clients so that he would get the experience to see how I do things, how I ask the right questions, and learn from that experience. Because really, that's the way. When I started in this business, the owner of the agency, who he ran the agency, he said one day he came into my office and he said, "Listen, the only way you're going to learn this industry is if you tag along with me and you jump in my car and we start seeing clients. We start seeing prospective clients." And that's how I learned. That's how I really learned the industry, is not from a textbook or, from, getting, obviously I got my license and I got all that stuff. And I learned a lot from just studying all that. But where I learned the most was the hands-on experience, watching my mentor talk to a client, watching my mentor on the phone, and listening to how he positions things and how he had the heart of a teacher. And so anyone who's watching this right now and you're looking to attract talent, these are the things we need to listen more to guys like you, Nick. So I know I'm listening. I'm fascinated by this interview right now. And I'd love to do like a follow-up with you in like 2 or 3 or 4 years and see where you are. And talking about business is a whole different ballgame. Like mentoring someone to actually run their own financial planning business, that's for a different conversation. But right now, today, I'm just really excited to learn even more about what is interesting for you and how you could progress yourself in your career.
Yeah, Ryan, I just want to jump in there. To me, some great points about there. So one of our biggest goals this summer was to really get Nick entrenched in the Staton Walsh family. We wanted him to be in with our clients. We wanted him to be in with our whether it's our wholesalers, our vendors, if we're meeting with our accountants, whatever it be, we wanted him to get the full experience. I know it's something Ryan and I didn't really have coming in the business. And one of the goals going into this, before we even brought Nick on board, Ryan said, we want to bring people into this business the right way, because the failure rate in our business it's way too high, and people leave and they have had a bad taste in their mouth about the business, and it might not ever work with an advisor or just bad mouth it. So we really want to change the perception of financial planning in general. And we worked really hard this summer to get Nick involved in everything and open up and trust in him too. There was a lot of trust there. Really open up everything to Nick and getting everything, and it just worked out great. I just can't say enough positive things about Nick, and I hope we're able to continue to work together in the future. And so I want to put that out there.
And Nick, if you ever want to get your producer's license and you're interested in property casualty, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to show you the ropes and teach you a little bit about our world.
Nope. Stop, Rob.
It's interesting because like some of the points that Nick made are we had a lot of extensive conversations before he came on and started working with us this summer. And the industry as a whole, I think all of our industries do a really bad job at mentorship. Because the older generation, and not to knock anyone, because like I had a mentor, someone who taught me the right way. Now it happened a couple steps. I was in the business for a few years before he really took me under his wing. So I saw a lot. And you see, on the job experience teaches you the right way and the wrong way to do things. I think I went out on a lot of meetings, sales calls, and things of that nature where I saw like the opposite of what you want to do.
Yep.
And so one of the things that I always felt, and one thing I did take away from him was, don't ever touch anything that doesn't energize you. So if you don't like answering emails, you may not feel like you're able to today, but you better figure out a way to afford to pay someone else to do that then, because you're never going to be efficient if you're doing things that you hate. And so part of our model, and I think one of the ways that the industry harms getting the younger generation in, and we were, a part of that not too long ago, is that they throw you into the deep end of the pool without teaching you how to swim. And so what we wanted to do is we said, how about in a non-confrontational way, or really a non-sales way, let's bring you in to this industry, and we're going to let you do everything in our practice this summer. We're going to let you. Now, business development is different because of the environment we're in. Obviously, you can't really do it the same traditional way that we used to. But the planning, meeting with clients, doing the back end operational work, handling the CRM, emails, follow up, building, investment proposals, insurance proposals, building financial plans. We basically said we're going to let you do all of it so that you can figure out what you like and don't like. I think where we all have a major misstep as collective industries is that we throw people into the fire and make them do everything all at once. And here's what happens. They get lost in the shuffle and they end up either failing or quitting. And instead of saying, I really didn't like this aspect of the job, they just have a bad taste in their mouth about the industry in general forever. So there are tons of people out there in our business and young people like Nick in college where there's several aspects to our industry. There's insurance, there's investments, there's planning. And so one of those you may not like. Insurance is one that we hear a lot because there are large companies out there that, harvest recruits at colleges and universities and then kind of cycle them out. And then they say, I never want to be a financial planner because it's a terrible job. The reality is that you didn't like one aspect of the job. So what we want to do, and I think what we all should do and what we should strive for, is teaching people the ropes. Everything from A to Z that we do, and let you pick which ones you like and don't like. If you decide that you don't want to be a client-facing financial planner, that doesn't mean you can't be a financial planner. That means that you're just not going to be client-facing. You're going to become someone who services a book of business, and you're maybe behind the scenes. You're still talking to people over the phone potentially, but you're not going out. You're not developing business. You're not doing the face-to-face meeting, and that's perfectly fine. And this industry has a place for professionals like that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's navigating away from the old school model. And there's some really good firms in this area, in Baltimore in particular, that do that really well. But there's a lot that don't. There's probably more that don't than do. So we're trying to change that, and we're bringing some youth and some technology and some new energy to the industry. And so we're hoping that, Nick is kind of the catalyst. He's a starting point for us to, one, help us grow our organization, but two, become part of that long-term growth, and overall become part of a long-term growth strategy for the industry, making us younger, making us more, energized, and also making us more technology forward, so that we're not stuck in ideologies and methodologies that are used in the 1980s, for example. So that's what we wanted to get out of it. And I felt like this was a learning experience for us as much as it was for Nick, probably, to see if all these crazy ideas we have in our head are actually feasible. Can we make it work? I think the short answer to that, and I think Devin would agree, is that it could, under the right circumstances with the right people. So, that's how I felt about it. And that's what I was most excited about this summer, is getting the opportunity to actually put this stuff to the test.
Yep. Hey, I had, as we're starting to land the plane right now, this is absolutely phenomenal. We also want to leave enough so that we can have Nick back on again, because we really want to stay, obviously we're going to be staying in touch with him, and I'd love to learn more about his journey and just, just kind of follow your development and your path, regardless of whatever industry you ultimately decide on, because you're a young guy. I mean, you have so much potential and there's so much opportunity out there for you. But I have one question for you, Nick, as we're wrapping up here. So I want you to project that you are at the end of your career. And I know this might be tough for you, but I want to hear how your answer changes from now until, like, let's say 5 years or 10 years from now. Think about at the end of your career, and you're looking back on all the things that you accomplished and all the things that you did, and et cetera, et cetera. What would you want people to say about you, Nick? What would you want your legacy to be?
Wow. That's a tough one. I think I want people to say that they came away from working with me better in the long run. Like and that's simple, that's open-ended, but I would say being able to make a positive impact on, the people I work with's lives and the people I services lives is the end all be all goal for the end of my career.
I love it. Love the answer. You don't even have to embellish anymore, because that really embodies what all of us. I know I can speak for the other guys on this call right now, because we wouldn't be together if we all didn't have that same belief and that philosophy that we really want to make an impact, a positive impact in people's lives. And Devin, I know you agree with that as well.
I mean, that's what it's all about, Rob. Just making a positive impact. That's the reason I'm in this business. I know that's the reason Ryan's in this business, and we want to align ourselves with like-minded people that are, if you do great for people and you create a positive impact and do great things for them, money's going to come. Money's going to flow in like you've never expected it. But you got to do right by people first before you even think about the dollars and cents afterwards. I think it's really the key to success in this industry. Because I know early on in my career, you had to hit sales quotas, got to hit here, got to sell this product every quarter to get there. So we all wanted to help people, but we also knew we had to, keep a job, and it was really just a big conflict of interest. So I think bringing people in who really want to help people and do it the right way is, kind of the people that we want to surround ourselves with, like Nick.
Agreed. And you know what? We also don't want to diminish the whole. I don't want to say diminish is probably not the right word, but listen, in our industry, it takes hustle. It takes grit. It takes not only that, but the passion. So in order for you to accomplish and achieve what you want to achieve, to make a positive impact, you also at the same time, you have to hustle, and you have to build your book of business. And the more value that you create for each individual person that you eventually bring into your into your business, it gives you an opportunity, gives you another platform to make an impact on someone they know or someone they're affiliated with who's going to maybe refer you. But there's no substitute for hustle. There's no substitute for just that time. And that's your big why. Nick, you already have a big why. You've achieved probably 80% right there. The next 20% is just going to be your hustle, because that why will drive you. Every single day when you wake up, you're going to be thinking about your family. Every day when you wake up, you're going to be thinking about the next family that you can reach out to, that you're going to make a positive impact on their life so that they don't have that same stress and that same struggle. That's where the rubber meets the road in our business, is your ability to do that. And that will drive you. And if you think about that every single day, you are going to be more successful than you ever imagined you would ever be.
Absolutely. Well said.
Well said, Rob.
Anybody else have anything to say?
No.
All right, good.
We'll
Listen,
finish up here.
You guys,
I'll finish. Ryan, you can go after me, but I'm sounding like a broken record. But I do just want to say thanks again to Nick for, he put a lot of, he took a risk this summer too, joining us. We're just started our firm last September, 2 young guys, and Nick took a leap of faith and wanted to learn from us, a small firm virtually. That's a big risk. He could have came on board, we could have been a mess, and he could have just walked away with nothing. So I just want to thank him for putting his faith in us to give us his time this summer, and to think that we'd do a good job teaching him how the industry works. And I had high expectations for him this summer, and he just blew everything out of the water. So I hope that we're continuing to work together. I hope that he's going to be a long-standing member of Staton Walsh in the future and help many people. So I just wanted to say thanks to Nick for putting his faith in us for the summer.
And I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity. It's been great, and this is leaps and bounds above what I expected from a summer internship. And I'm excited to continue, and I'm excited to continue to help you guys in your endeavor.
It's awesome.
Summer of love.
I'm going to share a portion of this video with the dean of your school, so that they need to hear this. Like, they need to. I know I sound like I'm sounding like I'm on a rant right now, but I really believe that in my heart, that the more young people like you, Nick, and the words you said were so touching. I really feel like a lot more universities and schools and even other trusted advisors who are building their practice, they need to hear what you have to say, because your voice matters, and it counts. It's really, really important that we listen to you, listen to the younger generation and what you guys are looking for in building your career. So, listen, guys, this has been a great episode. And also for all the viewers and listeners, if you're listening to it in your car or you're watching us on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe. We're going to continue putting out great content, having interviews with other successful business owners, entrepreneurs, community leaders. I look the same way at you, Nick. I mean, I look at you as being a real leader in your area, because you're at a university right now, and so you're able to set the lead for others who might want to follow in your footsteps. So you're setting a great example, and so we really appreciate everyone taking the time out of their day to listen or watch to our show. So with that, stay tuned for future episodes where we're going to have more hot topics.
All right, topics.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
You bet.